Welcome to the Spheres of Spirit with Nancy Myers, aka the Lady of the Light. Nancy will discuss the everyday magic and wisdom of spirit which surrounds each of us, waiting to be discovered. She will share some of her remarkable orb photos, proving that our angels, guides, loved ones in spirit, and even pets surround us and guide us in our physical world. During this episode, Nancy will discuss one of the many spheres or aspects of spirit available to us based on her orb photography. She will also share a special channeled message from her guide, Leonini, and do an oracle card reading to help guide you along your personal spiritual adventure. And now, here is your host, orb photographer, author, medium, and speaker, Nancy Myers.
Hi, thank you for joining me. I am your host, Nancy Myers. Today, we're going to talk about the magic of dreams, premonitions, visions, good old gut feelings, and even deja vu. So let's start with dreams. Well, we all dream, don't we? Most of us. But are they all the same? Why do we dream? What exactly is a dream, and why are some so vivid? And who's behind them? Well, dreams are defined as a universal human experience that can be described as a state of consciousness characterized by sensory, cognitive, and emotional occurrences during sleep. So that's the scientific kind of explanation. But what that tells us is, of course, sleep is the time when we experience dreaming. But sometimes we don't dream at all, or we don't remember our dreams. And other times, dreams are so real and visceral, we will never forget them. I'm sure all of you have had those kinds of dreams where they were so vivid, maybe even 10, 20 years ago. And if you close your eyes today, you can see them as if they just happened last night. Those are different kinds of dreams. We call those visitations. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So how do we get to the dream stage? Well, there's many stages of sleep. You know, there's light sleep, there's tossing and turning sleep, there's sleep when you think you're not sleeping, but then the time passes. There's deep, deep sleep when you close your eyes and open them and you think you've only been asleep for 5 minutes and it's been, good 6, 7 hours. So there's different stages, different levels of sleep. And each of those levels prepares us or gets us to the dreaming stage. So they can measure, they being the scientists, can measure when we actually slip into the stage where we are likely to dream. And that stage they have called REM. REM. It's an acronym which stands for rapid eye movement. And they call it that because when our eyes are closed, they can see underneath our eyelids that our eyes are going back and forth or moving very rapidly. That's kind of an indication that we've reached this level where we are dreaming. So what puts us in these stages? What puts us in this stage of REM or sleep where we can begin to dream? Well, it's all about brain waves. And brain waves, I have learned, there are 5 different kinds. Now, we always have brain waves, even when we sleep and even when we're awake. So let me talk about the 5 brain waves. Brain waves, which are measured in hertz, or a unit of frequency. So there's the gamma, the beta, the alpha, the theta, and the delta. So the fastest frequency is the first brainwave that I'm going to talk about, and it's called the gamma. And this, like I said, moves the fastest, and it's this stage of brain activity when we are learning and integrating information to parts of our brain and trying to put them into our memory. And we use this wave usually when we are awake. So next is the beta wave. And the beta wave is a little bit slower in its frequency than the gamma. And this is what we call our monkey brain. And I hear, people tell me, because I always say one of the most important things that we can do to increase our spiritual connection and move along our spiritual journey and open ourselves up to messages is to meditate. And people say, well, I can't stop thinking. Well, that's the monkey brain. That's when you're in the beta wave. You're sitting there thinking, instead of trying to relax your brain. Oh, I got to go to the store. Oh, don't forget bread and milk. Oh, the kids get out of school at 3:00. I got to go get them. Oh my gosh, I forgot to call so-and-so. That's your monkey brain. And this brain activity is when we're trying to turn that off. So no, that's what you are experiencing when you are meditating, that good old beta monkey brain. So the next slower brain wave is called the alpha wave. And the alpha waves put us in the optimal, relaxed state of alertness. We're awake, but usually, and alert, but there isn't much anxiety. It's when we're finally able to quiet that monkey brain. When we are in a state of alpha, which is a great place to be when you're meditating or even sleeping. It's when you increase, or when you're in that stage, you can actually increase the serotonin levels in your brains. Serotonin is a chemical that our brains produce, and it is linked to controlling our moods and our memory. That's the chemical that controls it and the levels. So the higher the serotonin, usually the better our moods and recall. Now, the brain wave we are usually in just after we have fallen asleep is this alpha. Or if we're in a light sleep and a sense of relaxation, then we move into the theta. Theta brainwave moves slower. And this is also the brainwave that helps us to move into the REM. So you see how it kind of overlaps here. Yes, we have brainwaves while we're awake, while we're meditating, but also while we're sleeping. And we can teach ourselves to get into this. So when we're in the theta brainwave is when the scientists measure our REM sleep, or our rapid eye movement sleep. And they have shown that when we are in this state is when we are dreaming. So it's also, theta is also a very dominant wave, like I said, when we're awake, of people who have been under hypnosis, intuitives, energy healings, people in trance, people who are in a highly creative state. They're wrapped in their painting or their writing, or at that particular moment they may be in a theta brainwave. It's also, this is a characteristic of deep sleep, deep meditation, and intuitives, like I said, channels, psychics. They are in this state because it's when it allows them to access the unconscious mind. So theta waves are very important when you're trying to channel or read or dream. So the next one, there is one above theta, and that's called the delta. And the delta is when we are in a very deep sleep. We don't usually dream in delta. We're very, very relaxed, and it's a good place to be sometimes. But you want to kind of move up into theta, or we are moved up to theta when we start dreaming. So I'm talking about these brain waves, and the scientists can measure these with an EEG. I can't say what the name is too hard to pronounce, but it's when they put the sensors on your brain and they can measure the activity. So the fastest, like the gamma, think of a heartbeat on a monitor, and the heartbeat has highs. Your heart is excited, and it has high peaks and high valleys, and the beats are very close together, and it goes beep 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 beep. Well, then when you move to the next one, or you become a little calmer and you start to breathe, then the beats become a little slower. Beep 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 beep. Not so dramatic. You finally go, get out of that monkey brain, get into that meditative state. Then the waves start to smooth out. They're more softer. And so that's how they measure and where we are in these waves. So you can prove this scientifically. So, how do we reach those higher, or in this case, lower frequencies? Well, we can train ourselves. We can train ourselves to control our or to reach or to move into these theta waves through meditation. We can do it through guided lessons, a relaxation, hypnosis, music, education. We can do it by setting the intent. Before I go to sleep at night, I'll set the intent and I'll say, I want tonight, could I please meet with my angels or guides or loved ones? And also, very important is practice. Anything that we learn or we do, we have to practice it. It's like, the muscle, the more you use that muscle, the stronger it becomes. So don't get discouraged, or don't think this is, oh, I'll just try it one time. I couldn't do it. I'm done. No. You keep trying. Trust me. I've been doing this for 12 years. Sometimes it takes a little while, but you will be able to do this. You will be able to move into these theta waves. And when you do, oh my gosh, you are so relaxed. You feel so good when you come out of it. You feel like you just had this big release and this huge loving hug. I just love it. So there's another form of dreaming, and it's called lucid dreaming. A lot of you are familiar with that. Like I said, they're dreams that you will never forget. But lucid dreaming is when you are aware that you are dreaming, and more importantly, is when you have some control of the dream. Sometimes you watch yourself from outside your body, and sometimes you are in your own body participating. With the people or reacting to or wherever you are in your dream. You're a part of it. And you're looking through your eyes, through these eyes, instead of looking from, like, say, behind you. So, like I said, lucid dreaming can be visceral, physical experiences. Sometimes you can touch, you can smell, you can feel, you can sense. Sometimes if you're ever in a dream where you're in a rainstorm, during that dream, you can literally feel the rain falling on you. Those are lucid dreams, and those are magnificent. And I think those are the dreams that we have when we are reaching to the other side, or when the other side is reaching to us. So I'm going to explain some of that. But first, I want to say, too, all dreams probably don't have specific meanings. But if you want to remember, some people say, well, I know that I dreamt last night, but I don't remember what I dreamt. Or as soon as I woke up, I forgot about it. So here's what I do. I tell people that one of two things is right, that twilight, right before you open your eyes and you're just coming out of your dream, and you can still remember it. So before I open my eyes, I say the dream. I speak it, what it was about, who was there, colors or sensations or objects. And because for me, that seems to anchor it then in my conscious. So I'm pulling it from the subconscious and I'm anchoring it into the conscious. So not all dreams, I'm saying, are lucid. Some are kind of fleeting. So you want to remember those too. So, and I also keep a recorder. Some people like to journal. I hate to write because I have arthritis in my hands. So I speak into a recorder, and I do it before I get out of bed so that I can relay the message, and then I'll write it down later. So that's how to train yourself to remember, because you're going to get some very important messages in your dreams if you start cultivating this, because spirit's going to go, oh, there's a way we can get to them. Doesn't always have to happen through meditation. In fact, to be honest, I prefer dreams because they're so much clearer. So here's an example of one of the lucid dreams where I was outside my body watching what was going on. And this was very early on in my orb photography journey. I had just started it. Of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, what is this? How am I going to help people? I don't get this. Who's helping me? Is this really important? Are people going to think I'm insane? Well, they still do, but that's another story. But anyway, so one night I have this dream. And I'm watching myself, and I'm sitting at a bistro, outside a bistro, and behind the me is the like a white plastered wall, of a little cafe. And I'm sitting on a high chair, like a stool or a bar stool, a little tiny bistro table. And there's a gentleman sitting with me. And I'm watching myself talk to this gentleman. In a future episode, I will tell you who that is. But I was just astounded, and I'm watching. I couldn't quite hear what they were saying, but I'm watching, and then my attention was drawn to that white plastered wall of the bistro, and written vertically was 1 Corinthians 2. And I went, well, that's interesting. Back to okay, what are they saying? Who's that guy? Well, then my attention was drawn back to the bistro wall. And now the letters were 3 or 4 times the size, 1 Corinthians 2. And I'm kind of going, okay, I got it. 1 Corinthians 2. And then I woke up. Well, you can bet that I didn't forget, what that was. Now, I don't read the Bible on a regular basis. I don't quote the Bible. I am not really familiar with everything. I did, I used to go to Bible school and all that, but to quote anything from the Bible, it's not. I know people that can do that. I'm not one of them. So I had to get my Bible out, and I'm looking for Corinthians. I finally find Corinthians, and I said, this has to be a message, right? I even knew back then, this has to be a message. And so when I looked up the verse was all about the demonstration of the Spirit and the power of God. And in part, it said, and we impart this in words not taught by human wisdom, but taught by the Spirit, interpreting spiritual truths to those who are spiritual. So I took this as, you're doing this work because we are guiding you. And you will be seeing this because you have the spiritual eyes. For those with eyes to see and ears to hear, it kind of goes on to say. So in other words, they're telling me the people that you will reach are the ones who are ready to accept this. I just found that so incredibly powerful. So there was another lucid dream that I had, and this is quite a remarkable story. And I said that dreams can be when our loved ones want to come through and, talk to us or contact us in a way that they cannot in our waking hours. So I had this amazing lucid dream, and I was in this house. I was in the front room of this house, and I'm looking down a hallway, and there's another room. And in that room, I could see my son, Robbie. And I went, hey, and he looked at me. And so I jumped up and I started walking down that hallway. But as I was walking down that hallway, he moved down another hallway to another room. So I got to the second room, and I'm looking at him, and we're making eye contact, and he's smiling, and I'm going, hey, wait for me, So I start walking down the next hallway. As I'm walking down the next hallway, just ready to get to the room, he moves to the next room. And that was the dream. We did that 3 or 4 times. We recognized each other, but we couldn't be in the same room at the same time. 2 days later, we get a knock at the door, and it's our dear neighbors. And they have this big, you could tell it was a picture wrapped up, big framed picture. And they said, we have a gift for you. And so I opened it, and it was an amazing thing that they had done. Beautifully framed was a picture of my son, and there was a poem next to it. And my neighbor said, I knew when I saw this poem, in our church program that I had to give this to you. Something told me that this was very important for me to do. When I looked at the poem, tears flowed down my cheeks because then the dream made sense. The poem that he had framed was called Death is Nothing at All. It was a poem written in 1910 by the priest Henry Scott Holland. And in part, or as it starts, it says, all is well. Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped into the next room. Wow. So Robbie was telling me, Mom, we'll still be together. I'm just in the next room. I'm not in your room anymore. But all is well. I'm fine. I made it to the other side. To me, that was an extremely, extremely powerful dream. So, and that was so lucid, very, very lucid. So, let's see. I have one more quick. Hold on one second. I just have to do something really quick here. Okay, thank you. So, there's dreams, and these lucid dreams. They're meetings, right? As I said, spirit uses our dreams to meet with us. And these meetings, they either come to us or we go to them. So when we go to them, and this is something that I have learned, maybe you have not heard about this as I had not until I started on this spiritual journey. It's called astral traveling. And I didn't know there was such a thing. But I have learned sometimes when we sleep, our energetic bodies leave our physical bodies. We are always attached, but we travel to the other side. So I wanted to know more about this. And so there was a wonderful book that I had read. It was written by a man named William Buhlman, Buhlman, and it's called Adventures Beyond the Body. And it's about, again, how we can train ourselves to go astral traveling. And you may already be doing this as I was and not knowing it. Have you ever dreamt of flying? Have you ever dreamt that you're falling, but you don't actually hit the ground? Like for me, when I dream that I'm falling, all of a sudden, it's like I wake up suddenly. I sit up, I have to take this huge intake of breath, and then lay back down and go, what just happened? Or you will dream of traveling into places that you've never thought of before. This is astral traveling. Some people, like my husband, he has amazing flying dreams, but sometimes before he flies, he will say, I have this sensation where I know I'm coming out of my body because I can see through my eyelids. I can see you clearly. And I know I'm laying down here, but it's like my eyelids don't exist. Why? Because he's seeing himself from his energetic, or he's seeing me from his energetic body. He's starting to leave his body. And he just loves those dreams because, he's flying all over the place and he loves it. There's also how do you know that you're going to do this? Some people, when they're astral traveling, right before they go into this deep sleep and start this traveling, they can't move. It's called like a sleep paralysis almost. And then they fall into the deep sleep and then have these amazing dreams. Others will feel, and this happens to me, is I feel this vibration. It's like my whole body is vibrating. And when I fall into my sleep, then I'm gone. And then I go and meet whoever I'm going to meet. You can control that. You can learn that. I have learned that there's a place here in Los Angeles that teaches that. It's an amazing thing. So here's a cute dream, though. So yes, we do go to the other side. I got a call one day from one of my son's dear friends, and she was so excited. And she said, "Oh my God, I got to tell you about this dream I had." She said, "I was with Robbie, but I don't know where I was. And we were walking all around and we're laughing and we're talking and we're having a good time. And then I come into this room and I see all these people in their jammies and they're talking to people like Robbie." And she said, "And I went up to this one man and I go, 'Oh, look, you're in your jammies too.'" And Robbie looked at her, she said, and said, "Okay, time to take you back." So she said, and then I woke up. But she said, "I know I was on the other side with Robbie." So yes, spirit comes to us. And yes, we go to spirit. Now you can also control your dreams and set the intent. I have a friend, and we make this pact sometimes before we go to sleep that night, that we're going to meet in the dream world. And it doesn't happen every time. But then the next day, "Did you dream?" "Yeah, yeah." "What was your dream?" "Oh, I was in this room and there's all these files." And it's the same dream. And we were in the same place with the same teachers, learning the same thing. Why? Because I believe my dear friend and I might be in the same soul family. So anyway, you can control your dreams. You can set this intent. This magic is right here at our fingertips. So I'm going to talk about a time, that one of the times that I know I went to the other side and was talking to my guides and spirits and teachers. I don't know all my guides and teachers personally, and sometimes I don't recognize them when I'm on the other side, but they're there. So I'll tell you a story when we get back. Thanks. See you in a minute.
OMTimes TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
we discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
Okay, we're back. So I have a quick story about when I went to the other side and met with my guides. So I am in a place that I don't know. I'm around a campfire, and there's a gentleman standing next to me who I don't recognize, and he is in a beautiful overcoat. And as I watch him, he gets taller and taller and taller and taller and taller, and I feel like I'm this big next to him. All of a sudden, he reaches into his top coat and pulls out this beautiful teal-colored gemstone triangle like a frame. It was hollow in the middle. And I'm looking at that, and I was struck by the color. And he reaches down to me, and as I reach up to get it, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then pretty soon it's this tiny little triangle in my hand. And I looked up to my guide and I said, "What do I do with this?" And he said, "Put it in your ear." And so I raised my hand up to my ear, and it went into my ear. So what is the purpose of this dream? They were telling me that they were upgrading me or helping me to open or expand my ability to hear them, which is called clairaudience. So as soon as I woke up, I said, okay, I got to find whatever this gemstone is. And so I looked and looked and looked, and I finally found it, and I'm wearing it today. And you can see the triangle shape, and it's blue obsidian. And the characteristics and the traits and of blue obsidian fit perfect. But they told me, okay, a lot of you might work with crystals and things. So I said, okay, they're telling me I need to utilize, to find and wear and call upon this blue obsidian. So I wear this when I do my spiritual work. So if we could bring up that next slide. So I want to talk about and kind of wrap this up. It says, what is the purpose of dreams? Night is the time. Whoops. I think we went back or went to the next one. Can we go back one? Yeah. Night is the time to see the dream. Day is the time to see it through. So when we're dreaming, it's to have contact, of course, but also to help us, to upgrade us, to download information, even if it's in our subconscious. But all this helps us on our path. Thank you for that slide. So let me move into premonitions really quick. There's so much to talk about here. Premonitions, which are kind of like a dream or a gut feeling. Premonitions are a strong feeling that something is about to happen, good or unpleasant. It could happen in the next minute, or it could happen days or even weeks. It's not quite a prediction because it's kind of vague. It's just this fuzzy feeling something's going to happen. 9/11, before we had that, I've talked to many people who either had dreams or premonitions that this was going to happen. Why? Well, one is kind of to prepare us, but two, because we are all connected to what is called the web of consciousness. So we can feel, we can tap into this if we train ourselves and go to the future if you're that good. But sometimes when it's a big enough event, it's not just us going to the web of consciousness, it's the web of consciousness coming to us. So, we're all kind of attached with these heartstrings, with these strings. I call them guitar strings. So when we think of our loved ones, we twang that guitar string, goes right to our loved ones, and we're connected. But the same thing with the overall spirit, they can send out these messages. So, and that was a huge event in today's time, and it changed a lot of us. So this level, this premonition, includes things that have, that are, or that will or could happen. Because again, on the side of spirit, there is no time. There's no past, present, and future. There's only now, and everything happens at the same time. We'll have another show that talks about more on time. But so that's why we can jump to the future. If, we think linear, but for terms of explanation, I will say jump to the future. So there's also a thing called precognition, which is kind of a thing of what attached to premonitions, and which are a part of clairvoyance. So precognition is kind of knowing what will happen in the future. So, and we're all able to tap into that. Do you ever have this feeling, this premonition? Oh, the phone's going to ring. Oh, I know who that's going to be. Or, oh, so-and-so is going to show up at my door, or, something like that. We've all experienced that. That's a premonition, and that's a form of you tapping in to the web of consciousness. So there is, and also, premonitions and this are also utilized in dreams. So you see how they all kind of overlap. They're all one. These definitions are not, okay, this goes in that box, and this goes in that box, and this goes in this box. I hate boxes, and I hate limits. So Spirit has taught me that. Don't limit us. Don't put us in boxes. We will show you, and you are ever evolving. So there are some arguments with spiritualists as to the source of precognition. Is it from an external intelligent source, like our guides, our angels, our loved ones, even orbs? And I talked about that in one of my podcasts. Orbs are messengers. Or is it from the ability to tap in to that web of consciousness? It's all of the above. It's all of the above. Again, don't limit spirit. So, the other thing that connects us is, besides these heartstrings, is just thinking, just when I think of Robbie or I think of someone, boom, I've thought of them, and now we are connected. So I had a terrible premonition with my son, and it's like the big events, 9/11, that disaster affected many, but there can be smaller premonitions that only affect us. So the premonition that was with my son is he came over to borrow a suitcase because he was heading back to North Carolina to visit his cousins. And I walked him to the door and I watched him walk out from the porch down the walkway. And I got this thing. No, I need to hug him. I need to hug him. And I go, Robbie, come back here. And he goes, what? And I said, I just want one more hug. And I hugged him and hugged him and hugged him. And he said, Mom, I got to go. And I said, okay, I understand. And that was the last time I hugged him. And he never came back home. But something told me, you need to take advantage of this moment. And I'm so glad that I did. So pay attention to those premonitions, which also then leads us to those gut feelings. Gut feelings is our stomach. That's our psychic center. It's our third chakra. It's yellow. It's our psychic center that helps us navigate. That's how you feel. You feel the energy. It also gives us. So here's what I did. I looked up, okay, what's the spiritual meaning of the color yellow? The color yellow gives us the message of confidence, growth, and having the strength to take the next steps on your journey. So our guts can guide us. Do you ever have that feeling when either you've met someone and go, no, that's not my kind of person, or conversely, you meet somebody and go, oh my God, I feel like I've known you forever. It's so comfortable around you. That's because your gut feeling is picking up that energy. Or you have a gut feeling as you're driving and coming home from work and you go to turn down the street that you always do and something stops you. Said, nope, don't turn down that way. And so you go around the long way. And when you get home, you found, oh, there was an accident that way. I would have been stuck forever. So is that a premonition? Is it precognition? Is it a gut feeling? All of the above. Do you see how they all overlap? So the gut feelings are coming also from a higher vibration or source. And I'd like to bring up this next slide. And this is a beautiful slide of a yellow orb. I don't get yellow very often. So when I do, I just love it. And I attach these amazing quotes that fit with these beautiful orbs. And so what I did is matched up this quote: yellow shines with optimism, enlightenment, and happiness. It instills energy, open communication, and creative thoughts. So how perfect, thank you. So how perfect it is that yellow is our psychic center, that yellow is tied into those gut feelings. Please do not explain them away. Pay attention to those gut feelings. They're there for a reason. The more you acknowledge them, the more you will understand them, the more you will get. It's that working that muscle, working that spiritual connection muscle. So now let's talk about visions. Visions, in this sense, is seeing what's not there. Visions are connected to your third eye, which is between your eyebrows, just up into your forehead just a little bit, or the sixth energy chakra, and that lies up right there between our brows, and it's associated with the color of a beautiful deep indigo purple. Visions, however, can be seen with the eyes open or with the eyes closed. How can that be? Well, visions, not just in meditation, but it also in dreams or when you're awake and alert, and can also come as a form of revelation. So think of the Bible and Revelations. There was all this information about the visions that the prophet was shown. And all through the Bible, I know there's prophets saying, I was shown this vision. I was shown this vision. So And even a little more recently, there was these 3 children, I believe, in Lourdes, France, who saw with their eyes open the vision of Mother Mary. So you can see it there, but the word vision and revelation is interchangeable. So to reveal means to unveil something that was there all along, but could not be seen externally. So it's like I tell you, the magic is right here. It's always right here, but we need to train ourselves to see it, to realize it, and so that we can be guided and connected better by doing that. So when we do that, the word reveal means to unveil something. So when you hear people say, oh, when we come into this lifetime, there's a veil that's pulled over our eyes and we can't see spirit anymore. Well, part of our spiritual growth is meant to either remove that veil or to thin it so we can begin to see it better and use our spiritual eyes, our spiritual vision. It's what I do when I look at the orbs. Sometimes I look at orbs and the faces come right out at me because I've trained my spiritual vision. Sometimes when I meditate, I'll have visions. When I ask my son, we wrote my first book together, and I say we because he was literally my ghostwriter, because he would guide me through the whole process and he would give me the names. Of course, he gave me the name of the book. He would give me the individual names of the chapters, and I would see it like it would be written right in front of me. And so, it's that kind of vision. Vision comes in many forms. There's another kind of vision, and I don't have a whole lot of time to talk about this, but if you ever have had a past life regression and you are hypnotized and you go back, I've done it 3 times. It's an amazing, remarkable process. And you learn so much about who you are today because of your past lives. But there are some lives that you can see yourself, and then you can research and check out what you've been shown, and it matches up. Things you didn't have any way of knowing. So visions happen while we are awake, but also during our dreams. So who gives us these these visions? It's spirit. It's the collective. It's our loved ones, our guides, our teachers, our angels, even our pets. So if we could bring up that next slide. So there is light beyond the veil. When you take that veil off or thin it, you then can see the light. Light is the divine. Light is what we all go back to when we leave these physical bodies. But we get to have glimpses here. Thank you for that. We get to have glimpses of that light here on earth if we choose to. So don't try to explain these away. There's always a reason why you're getting these premonitions, these precognitions, these visions, these dreams. There's always a reason. Again, spirit is not willy-nilly. They do not waste messages. So pay attention and journal. Before I did this show, I went back and read some of my dream journals, and I got lost. I just started reading it. And then sometimes when you have the dream, so that's nice to have that to go back to and refer and refresh your memory. But sometimes when you have the dream, it doesn't make sense right at the time. And you'll figure it out in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years sometimes. But you'll have that journal to go back to and go, oh, that's what they were showing me. Now it makes sense. So they set us up. Spirit is really good at setting us up, for what's coming. So please pay attention to those. So if I can bring up that next slide, Edgar Casey, who is a well-known channel. If you don't know anything about Edgar Casey, I highly recommend that you do a little research on him. There's some wonderful books out about him. But this was a quote from him, and it says, some things Oh, excuse me. We skipped one. Well, that's okay. Some things you have to believe to see. So some things are right there, but unless you have the faith and you believe that that magic is there, you're not going to see it. So thank you for that. So let's talk about one quick thing here, and it's deja vu. And I know most of you. Oh, there's that slide. Let's bring up that slide really quick. So Edgar Casey said the unseen forces are greater than the seen. So who do I rely on more heavily than humans is my spirit team. They have my best interest in heart. They can certainly see from a different perspective. They can see the past, present, and future. So the unseen forces are greater than the seen. So if you can connect to that guidance, it will help you tremendously. So thank you for that slide now. Okay, so deja vu. Ever walked into a room and go, I've been here before? Or come around a corner. Sometimes when I hiked in a new place and I come around a corner and I go, whoa, I've been here before, but I haven't. I've not been here before. But why does it feel so familiar? It feels so familiar. And deja vu is a French word that means already seen. So it's like the great Yogi Berra. He says, when he sees something happening for the second time, he says, it's deja vu all over again. I just love his quotes. But deja vu happens because I think, this is my interpretation, deja vu are signposts of what we have seen, but we have seen them when we are between lives. It is when we are between lives planning this life and we are watching on this huge screen what's going to happen in our life, and we see certain signposts or certain occurrences that tell us, yes, you're on your right path. Yes, this is going to happen. Yes, there are two wonderful authors, Dr. Brian Weiss and Robert Schwartz, and they each have these amazing books that talks about our pre-birth planning or life between lives. And it's those planning sessions that we see in deja vu. So I think of it as, oh, good. I have no idea how I know this, but I know that I'm seeing this and remembering this from a different level. I'm on the right path. So deja vu doesn't happen a lot for me, but when it does, it's pretty incredible. There are people that get deja vu all the time. And so pay attention to that. I just think that's incredible magic, that our subconscious can come into our consciousness and make us remember that we have seen that scene before. So if we can get that next slide. So this is my quote, and it's with a beautiful white orb, which to me is the angelic realm. And it says, allow yourself time to dream because you become that which you imagine. So take the time to set the intentions, to meditate, to imagine, to be creative, to stretch yourself. Do not limit yourself. There are no limits. There are no boundaries. So use that magic. Okay, so I know today just flew by, didn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, I have a message from Leonini, and I wanted to do a quick card reading. So let me do that. So today's card reading is coming from my deck, and I'll show those who are watching this. It's called The Sacred Destiny, and it's a mirror image again of the tree, as above, so below. So let me pull the card. I'm going to shuffle, and I'll give you the message. I never know what I'm going to do, but so far Spirit, or which card I'm going to draw, but so far Spirit has been amazing in drawing just the perfect card. How does that happen? Okay, one more shuffle here. And then I will shuffle like this. Okay, so here's the card that I drew. Okay, so I will show you this card. It says mountain, but the mountain stands for strength. So what Spirit wants to tell each of you out there is you are stronger than you believe. You are stronger because you have this amazing spirit team with you. You do not do this journey alone. You have the strength of wisdom. You have the strength of connection. You have the strength of eternal love that walks with you through this journey. If you have your down days or you're feeling like, I can't go on, I can't do this, and we all have them, remember who walks with you up that mountain. A lot of times I know they're behind me, pushing me up that mountain. But this is what we need to do on our spiritual journey. Our spiritual journey is not always an easy journey because it stretches and grows us. But and when you get up there, they were telling me just now, the view is incredible. So have the strength to climb up your spiritual mountain, because from that mountain place is a view that is indescribable. So that's the message today from Spirit for you. So I also have a message from Leonini. And this is a message that she had given me a while ago. And again, I'm reading it from my book, The Wisdom of Leonini. And it has over 100 of her messages that I've channeled. Leonini, again, is my guide. And this one is about vision. So I thought it was quite appropriate. So it says, we in the spirit world watch over you and love you because we are able to look upon you with unobstructed vision. We see only your goodness because we see the spark of the Great Spirit that resides in each of you. The lenses of your earthly vision can become clouded and distorted because you exist in the illusion and fog of the material world, and these dirty lenses can distort the true reality. Clean your spiritual glasses in the mist of love and the mist of compassion, and the perfect light of each soul will come into focus. Look at yourself with these glasses and understand that you too are a perfect soul, here to learn and experience life in the physical world. One should not hide behind dark lenses, nor look at others in darkness. The eyes are truly the windows to each soul. When there is clear vision, there is clear understanding of each soul's journey. When Leonini shows me a message, or she's going to give me a message, she always shows me a picture, and that picture was someone cleaning their glasses, and then she goes into her message. So how appropriate the card reading, and then the message from Leonini, and today's messages. I know I covered a lot. I always tell people, please set the intent, do the work. If you get this information, then run with it, expand upon it. We all have to do this in our own way, in our own time. But Spirit is here to help you. I want to let you know that next week, we are going to be talking about sacred geometry. It's something that I had to learn about. I hate math, but something that I had to learn about, and how Spirit taught me sacred geometry is quite a story. So that's going to be our topic for the next show. Now, these shows are pre-recorded because I will be gone. But this week I leave for the Hopi Reservation. I'm going to be immersed in ceremony and with the wisdom keepers of the Hopis. I'm very excited about this. If I get some amazing pictures, I will certainly share them with you, although I know I'm not allowed to take too many pictures there, but I will do what I can. So I'm unable to take your live questions, but if you send me a question either on my website, which is theorbconnection.com, you can write to me, theorbconnection@gmail.com, then I will try to answer them at the next show. So, wow, what a show. Keep dreaming, keep working. Things are changing, and stay hopeful. Set that intent. And with that, I hope you found this show hopeful, helpful, and healing. Thank you again for your time. I so appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye now.